Wouldn't you know it? Yes, another busy week. Hey, you get a video marathon today. I promise I will keep the video short today, especially this one. Let's talk about the Buckeyes. And I know the game against UCLA is a little over 24 hours away. But of course, I got to sit down and talk about what they did against the Purdue Boilermakers. And quite simply put, to kick off this video marathon today, I thought this was a very lackadaisical day. I just did not think Ohio State played their best football, but their best football looks like this: outgaining Purdue by over 300 yards, going 9 of 13 on third down, and holding the ball for nearly 40 minutes. In fact, over 40 minutes in the game. What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. My name is also Nate Bope. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I'm a sports media graduate. I got a massive passion for the sports world, especially the world of college football, especially as it pertains to my Ohio State Buckeyes. So please support me any way you can. Like this video, go hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, go follow me on social media to join me in my journey in the sports media industry, so on and so forth. Any way that you support me is a massive, massive help, and I appreciate every single one of you, no matter how you may be following along with my progress on the channel. Personally, again, does not matter. Let's talk about this one, huh? Again, shorter, quicker video because 34-10 is, again, about what people expected this team to do, right? They expected them to go in there, walk all over Purdue, and that's exactly what they did. However, you watch the game, and the box score is going to say what it says, right? Again, 9 of 13 on third down. Julian Sain, another fantastic day, 27 of 33, 303 yards. He's on pace to do something that nobody in college football history has done at this level, and that is throw 80% completion percentage. Now, again, on pace. So we'll see if he continues to do that. Sure, you had the one turnover in there. Penalties a little bit of an issue in this game as well. But that's where the sort of lackadaisical thing comes in for me. I have told you fine people all season long that this is a Buckeye team that has not even flashed their true potential this year. They are just ramping things up, right? Or slowly starting to mix things in to then, bam, hit those boosters and really start to run with things, right? And utilize the full function of this offense and show some more different packages defensively out of Matty P. This was, in my estimation, their worst team performance of the year. Now, Nate, how can you say that? How was this the worst team performance of the year? I mean, the stats will not tell you that. But there were so many missed opportunities in this game. Against penalties were an issue. And it just genuinely felt like they did not go out there with the care in the world. They just didn't play. They played this game very loosey-goosey, which again is not a problem. You obviously see the score. You see the stats. They still dominated this game. But when you compare it to the rest of the season and how things have played out, this was the worst game that Ohio State has played this year, in my estimation. You can have a different opinion. That's totally fine. My personal one is that overall as a team, this is the worst game that they had played so far this year. And if this team's worst game is, now I understand it's a road game against Purdue, okay? We're not going to Happy Valley. We're not going to Ann Arbor. We're not even going to the Coliseum or Kinnick Stadium or Lincoln and Memorial Stadium or any one of these really tough, hard-to-play environments in the Big Ten. Buckeyes have already been in a couple of them this year in Seattle and Champaign. But this is not that environment. West Lafayette can get loud, but not when Purdue is looking like the team that they have been this year, right? This just felt like a very lackadaisical performance. And that's not to say that guys weren't sharp. You heard me read off Julian Sain's stat line. I thought he was spectacular, besides, of course, that one pick that I really don't know how he didn't see the guy there. So, again, just something to clean up when Julian Sain takes a look at the film. Something to clean up here for this week. Rushing game, 4 yards per carry. Solid. Nothing too over the top crazy. With no Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith had himself a great day. 10 catches for 137 yards, 1 touchdown, so on and so forth. Nate, you're skipping over the point here, right? How did this team play their worst game of the season? I really don't know how else to explain it other than the fact that it just looked like a team that kind of went out there and just like, man, do we really have to be here? I know that that's not the mentality that this team was speaking with, but maybe I got somebody out there that'll back me up on that statement. They just did not look like they were motivated in any sense of the word to go out there and play this game. They were very loose. They were very free flowing. There were mistakes flying up and down the field. I still don't think the offensive line is as sharp as it needs to be. Of course, Julian Sayin had the mistake. I think the defense could have been a little sharper at points throughout this game. I know that's really hard to say when you give up 186 yards of total offense and that's it. And mind you, none of this is criticism, okay? I'm not criticizing the team. I'm not criticizing the coaches that, quote, didn't have them ready to play this game. Clearly, they had them ready to play this game. They won by 24 and dominated every single statistical category, including one that Ohio State does not usually dominate, and that's time of possession, where, again, they held the ball for, I'll get you the exact number here, 40 minutes and 53 seconds. Yeah, this team was ready to play this game. They just were loose. They were very free-flowing. They didn't really look like they had a care in the world, and you can chalk that up to not necessarily being a bad thing. I'm just making the observation. I think this is the worst game that the Buckeyes have played so far this season. Now, you got 2 home games, UCLA and Rutgers. You're on the road against Michigan to close out this season. Quite simply put, it's Purdue. We all expected this to happen here. But this is a team that, again, if this is this group being lackadaisical, if this is this group not necessarily playing their best football, which, again, I still don't think you've seen the full potential, as I've said many a times before. This is a Buckeye team that is going to play much better than they did in this Purdue game against UCLA. That's pretty much a guarantee there for you. And as well, just you got to pose the question of, when are we really going to see this team turn on the afterburners, right? It might not be Michigan. It might not be until Michigan. Might not be until the Big Ten championship game. Might not be until the college football playoff, however far they may happen to get in the latter two statements, right? Again, no guarantees when you play in a conference like the Big Ten, and really just when you play a sport like college football. Nothing is guaranteed ever. However, I am looking forward to the Buckeyes trying to beat up on Nico a little bit more after they did it when he was at Tennessee in the college football playoff last year. Now, of course, playing UCLA in a night game in the shoe. Look at that, folks. We finally got a November night game in Columbus. Boy, it is going to be absolutely awesome to watch. Couple things, though, that I did also want to point out here from this game. Julian Sayin. Again, improve on the slight little things, right? The deep ball was not absurdly prevalent. There was not a completion over 40 yards here in this game. So again, just not letting things rip, although did have the 35-yarder to Jeremiah Smith. Nice play by number 4 in white. He's pretty good at football, if you didn't know. Again, improve on the little things. He missed the linebacker that was sitting right in the middle on the pick. And again, you see that happen all the time with quarterbacks. So that's just something he's got to watch the film, be able to recognize. I actually don't necessarily mind them mixing Isaiah West into this rushing attack a little bit more. Again, this just goes to show you, Buckeyes' longest rush was 16 yards. Also part of the point, it wasn't their best game. But that belonged to Isaiah West, not Bo Jackson, not James Peoples. C.J. Donaldson did punch it into the end zone twice. But they're really trying to go 4 deep within this running back system, which, I mean, okay, we'll see how long that's going to progress forward here. I love Bo Jackson. I think everybody that's watched me has known that I love Bo Jackson. I think the kid is going to be really, really good. He already is really good and has a long, long way to grow. James Peoples, I've been okay with him this year. C.J. Donaldson, I know there are a lot of Buckeye fans that have not been big C.J. Donaldson fans, and when you compare him to Jackson and maybe some of the expectation levels entering for Donaldson, he has not been what I think a lot of Buckeye fans thought he was going to be. Well, they use him as a short down back, and he's got now close to 10 touchdowns on the season, if not already there. So C.J. Donaldson is utilizing his worth and his role I think, pretty darn well. Could he be doing better? I mean, yeah, but I mean, he's servicing it pretty well. James Peoples, they're kind of backing off Peoples a little bit and giving more carries to Isaiah West, but those four guys, they're mixing in to the offense. Be interested to see what happens with Carnell Tate in the UCLA game, if he plays, how he looks, how healthy he is, so on and so forth, because he did not play in this game, right? It was a precautionary thing. He was a little tight during warm-up, so we'll see what sort of action he gets against UCLA. Max Clare had a very nice homecoming, 59 yards on 5 catches for him. And other than that, you just distributed it to pretty much everybody else here on this team, did Julian Sane. Defense, again, hard to complain too much, but they did not really force a ton of pressure. Did they have to? No, but they did not force the issue really at all. Defensively, this was a very, I don't want to say conservative, but it was a very just plain, I think I just found the perfect explanation for this game. For the way that Ohio State played, it was very plain, right? There was nothing flashy, there was nothing exciting, and that probably is why I'm saying it's been their worst performance this year, because there's been nothing flashy, there's been nothing exciting, and maybe some people are going to say, Texas or Ohio, where they struggled, especially in the red zone. That came up in this game as well. But this game just felt very plain, right? It was very plainly called. There was nothing thrilling, nothing exciting in the game plan at all to try to throw Purdue off its systems. Ohio State knew what it was coming into this game. It was the more talented, superior team that didn't have to worry too much about going on the road. In fact, they didn't worry if they weren't, I mean, it shows you they weren't worried about this game, which, again, Buckeye fans shouldn't have been either. That they ended up sitting Carnell Tate at a precaution. If it was Michigan, Carnell was playing. If it was Penn State, Carnell probably is playing, so on and so forth. So, you know what? I think I've exhausted everything that I can say here, and I definitely have sounded like a broken record at least 5 times in this video, if not probably a whole lot more. So I'll leave my thoughts on the Purdue game there. 34-10. Ohio State walks away with the win, and tomorrow will be the game in Columbus in the shoe. Almost said the Rose Bowl, but it's the team that calls the Rose Bowl home from Pasadena that will be traveling over. That is the UCLA Bruins. They will be coming over to play the Buckeyes. Night game in the shoe. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. We will be moving on to your regularly, there we go, scheduled programming, Power 30, college football playoff predictions, and weekly predictions for Week 12. See y'all later. Goodbye.